Have you ever wondered what it meant to settle a score in an era when honor wasn't just a word but a way of life? Imagine a world where a man's reputation was as vital as his sword, and disputes weren't resolved with contracts or lawyers, but with blood and steel. Among the Vikings, these were not mere fights. They were rituals, imbued with the gravitas of law and tradition, where one's fate could be decided in the blink of an eye. These legendary duels, or holmgangs, were as much about justice as they were about survival. But what made these duels so unique? Why did the Vikings, seafarers known for raiding and conquest, feel the need to formalize combat? And what happened when the stakes were more than just life and death? Stick around, because this story is far bloodier and far more fascinating than you might think. The word holmgang translates roughly to island walk. This name harks back to the practice's origins. Combatants would often fight on a small island or a designated patch of ground, ensuring no one could flee. But this wasn't an unregulated brawl. It was a duel governed by rules so intricate they'd rival any modern courtroom drama. The Viking legal system, known as thing, allowed individuals to settle disputes through holmgang when mediation failed. Whether the disagreement was over land, debts, or insults, a duel was often the last resort. Both participants had to agree to the terms, the time, the location, and even the weapons. Imagine this: two men standing under a cold Nordic sky surrounded by a solemn crowd. A square of animal hides or wood markers defined the battlefield. Each combatant stepped into the ring knowing that retreat meant eternal shame. It wasn't just a fight, it was a declaration of who you were. But the holmgang wasn't just about strength, it was about cunning and honor. For instance, if you struck an opponent after stepping outside the designated area, you could be punished. If you killed your adversary dishonorably, their kin had the right to challenge you. This wasn't chaos, it was order, Viking style. Let's journey to the saga of Egil Skallagrimsson, a legendary Viking warrior and poet. Egil once found himself embroiled in a holmgang with a man named Ljot the Pale. The reason? A land dispute that neither would concede. As the story goes, the fight was brutal. Egil, wielding his sword with both strength and precision, struck down Ljot. But his victory didn't come without controversy. Egil's methods were questioned, as some witnesses claimed he exploited an unfair advantage. This sparked further disputes, proving that even in victory, holmgang could complicate matters. Not all duels ended in bloodshed, though. Some were ceremonial. According to the sagas, a duel could be settled if one combatant conceded or even fainted from fear. However, this rarely happened. The stakes, reputation, honor, and the respect of one's peers were often too high. But holmgangs weren't perfect. By the 11th century, they began to fall out of favor. The church, with its growing influence, condemned these duels as barbaric and unchristian. Kings started outlawing them, seeing the practice as a threat to their centralized power. Yet, the stories of these duels persisted, a testament to the Viking spirit of independence and justice. So, what can we learn from these Viking duels? They were more than just fights. They were a reflection of a culture that valued personal responsibility and honor above all else. In a time without modern law enforcement, holmgang offered a system of accountability. As we leave behind the cold, windswept arenas of holmgang, let's remember one thing. The Vikings lived in a world where life was short, but honor was eternal. And while we may not settle disputes with swords today, the spirit of taking responsibility for one's actions remains timeless. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the fierce and fascinating world of Viking duels. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment below. What do you think about the holmgang? Would you have the courage to face such a challenge? Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. See you in the next video.